I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Saville U25 Challenge here at Curling Stadium in Edmonton at the Saville Curling Center. Draw number 2 here at this event. The Whitbread team out of Lacombe, Alberta, is taking on Momoha Tabata from Sapporo, Japan. The Whitbread team, a very, very young team, just finalists in the U18 Nationals last year, and they don't play quite as much. We don't see them quite as much as some of the other teams, obviously, because they just aren't maybe on the tour yet. But obviously a very good team. And Tabata will talk a little bit about more as we move along. So Tabata with hammer here in the first end from the draw to the button. We've been at the Saville Center for a couple of events already this year, and conditions are usually excellent, and I would expect that to be the same here. A little wide on this one for lead Caitlin Tim, and we will have an early miss. To battle lead Miko Nakajima will be asked to throw a tight guard on this. Looks pretty good, just coming into the 12-foot. And very good shot. So Caitlin Tim will be asked to throw a double here. I think I said Tabata had hammer, but she does not. Whitbread has hammer. And we'll look to make the double. Not a lot of weight here. Line looks pretty good, though. And if they can get it out, and she will not quite get it out, but an excellent effort from Caitlin Tim. Seen Tabata a number of times this year as well, and that's a very familiar pose for her. That's how she likes to call the shot, just crouching down like a catcher in baseball and pulling it out. So it needs to curl a little bit if it's going to stay. And it will roll out. That soft weight almost saved it. So Whitbread's going to go ahead and hit it anyway. Not a surprising move here in the first end. Without hammer especially. But even if you do have hammer, there's nothing really wrong with hitting this one. But some teams would choose to ignore that and just throw up a corner perhaps, given that you've had practice, so you have a little bit of an idea what it's going to be like for ice and weight. See the Whitbread coach on the ice and behind the sheet. Done that a lot myself over the last couple of years. It can be a very cold 2 hours, but it's very interesting as well, and you certainly are very close to the action. Tabata going back into the house. It's going to be just the top of the 12-foot. So both teams really looking to play a pretty clean end here. And we've talked about that a number of times. That's kind of the normal routine for an awful lot of teams. Not every team, but most teams will play the first end pretty open, particularly the teams that have hammer. Second stone, Haley Adams with the hit. And it looks like she'll probably stay as well. And she does. Just about called that a little too quick. Almost didn't stay, but it managed to hang on. Third stones already for Tabata. We got Miku Nihira with a hit. And well done. So they'll turn hit now for a Whitbread. Working just to make this one curl a little bit, make sure it stays and rolls in a little. And it does. A little bit interesting there how they manage the sweeping for a shot like that. The inside sweeper who is normally kind of holding it straight there is going over the top of the rock and kind of going back at it. That was interesting. We'll have to watch that a little bit as it moves along. And this one may have trouble hanging around. Abby was able to sweep it out the back. So an open house now for the third stone for Abby Whitbread, which is Anna Bakos. We'll go with Bakos. If somebody tells me I'm wrong, I will change that. Just an out-turn draw somewhere around the tee line would be the ideal spot. Didn't quite get there. You might see Tabata decide to hit it regardless, and she will. Sometimes not a good idea to chase around corner guards when you don't have last rock. So not a surprise that she'd play the hit on here, try to roll on the rings and force Whitbread to go ahead and hit it. A lot of hand action going on this one. Well, not a good result for Team Tabata on that one. Whitbread rather now. Probably do that a couple times a day. I will try not to do that, but when you first look at the last name, it comes out Whitbread sometimes. But Abby Whitbread now will try to make the out turn come around. very good opportunity here in the first end. Plus the fact that she just basically played this shot, which is kind of a bonus. A lot of times in the first end, you have to play this shot in some place where you haven't been and kind of have to do a lot of guessing on ice. She just saw basically this exact same path. So she will throw an out-turn draw. Might be a little heavy. Sweepers are kind of indicating it's kind of back there a little bit. Starting to come down. And is it going to hang on? Team Tabata were able to get it just about out. Not a bad result, but not what she wanted for sure. She could easily be forced to one here if Momoha Tabata can manage to make some kind of a come around freeze here, would be a definite force. A little less ice than Whitbread did. Probably close to 8 or 10 inches less ice. Interesting, because Abby certainly throws a lot of handle on hers. So Tabata needs to make sure she keeps a good handle on this one as well. Girls are working really hard on this. This is going to be far short. So obviously didn't quite get the numbers right on that one. She would not expect her to come up that short. So a nice open draw for 2 in the first end here for Abby Whitbread. Very nice way to start, considering just 3 shots ago it looked like it was going to be more apt to be a blank end than anything. These are always a little bit tricky because you can see here she just moved out now to the edge of the 4-foot, and normally you'd assume that the path there would be really nice, but because of the draw to the buttons, you're not really throwing down there necessarily. You're out a little further, and it gets beat down pretty good out there, but not so much where a third stone and a Bakos is. See how she gets along? Probably just needs the same weight she just threw, to be honest. Just a little bit warm again. And it might be a little bit too much. We'll try to get it out the back. Will it hang on? Well, and it does. So she picks up 2 on 2 that she certainly used the whole 12-foot to make those 2 shots. But nice score for 2 starting out for Abby Whitbread from Lacombe, Alberta. And we'll take a short break and be back with you soon.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
And we're back for end number 2 here at the Saville U25 Challenge, where some of the best under 25-year-old curling teams in the world are gathered for this triple knockout event. Ten teams in the ladies' side playing a triple knockout. So it's a little bit of a staggered draw, which resulted in Abby Whitbread having to play a game earlier today and she defeated Claire Booth to get to this game. And Tabata had a bye in the first round, so she just waited for the winner of that game. So that's how we got to this point. And why Tabata hasn't played any games, and Whitbread has played one already. So the opening draw went to the back of the 12-foot. Certainly not where she was trying to be. So Tabata now will ask her lead, Miko Nakajima, to throw a corner guard. And it worked out pretty good. Looked a little light for a little while, but it still would have probably preferred to be a little deeper than that, but generally in the right spot. Whitbread going to the 4-foot with this one. Caitlin Tim. And this looks like it's going to end up pretty well where they wanted it. Yeah, ideal. I don't know if it's the best spot, but that's where they called it, so they will have to work with that. It does set up a potential hit and roll behind the corner. Never easy, but it's not that far. The other option she would have had there was to probably throw just a tight guard. And Tabata probably would have came around the corner anyways. Which is what she's doing now. Aggressive move. I thought she was probably playing the hit and roll, but she's not. This one might be light. But it'll be basically stacked corner guards if nothing else. Missing the overhead picture there, so we'll get that one in a minute just to see where it is. Made it to the rings. There we go. Not by a lot, but it got there. And that's all she was really looking for. Would have been nice if it could have at least been second shot, and it doesn't look like it is. But we're so early in the end that there's a lot can happen from now on. So the call of guard again for the Whitbread team, and again it looks a little bit heavy. No, maybe not. Over curl a little bit. No, weight was really good. Actually, just needed some more ice, I think. So Tabata this time will definitely play a hit and roll. Just a matter of the weight choice here. She plans on throwing fairly solid weight. Obviously, it's not very much ice. Just looks like a fairly even curl, though. It doesn't have a big finish by the look of it. So this one probably, if she just throws it a firm weight, she'll be fine. Sweeper's indicating not to sweep it. Probably means it's a little bit heavier than the call. But it looks pretty good. Gets a little bit more curl, and it won't. Well, that was only just about probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches from being absolutely perfect. Make the double and roll behind the guard, but does leave the same shot for Whitbread, but it rolled a tiny little bit, so slightly tougher, but not very much. Probably jams if she makes the roll, or at least takes her own off the back, but she wouldn't be too worried about that. If she makes the roll, she'll be in a great spot behind her own guard. Second stone, Haley Adams. This one's out a little bit. Sweepers on this team indicating it might be a little bit hot. By hot, I mean just a little bit more than what they originally called for. Gonna try to get it to curl, and it will not. Does double it off on the back. not a problem unless Tabata makes the roll. Has a really good opportunity here if she can match up the weight this time to make a little hit and roll behind the guard, sit 2. Sai Yamamoto. Looks like she just set that back a little bit, so I think she's a little wide. You might have to go in this just to get it to make good contact and hang around. I'd like to roll away if you're not going to get the roll. That's much better than sitting right there, to be honest. Could have rolled even another foot or foot and a half and it would have been fine. So Whitbread now facing 2 yellows. To make sure you don't lose this one. Looks like it could be a really good roll. Will it get all the way over? And it comes pretty close. That's a heck of a shot. See the repeat again. Or the replay again, rather. Just needed this one. Just needed to curl just a tiny little bit more, but they really didn't want to take a chance. Looks like it could be a really forcing it over there too much and never roll too far. So it got 3/4 buried. Comes pretty close. So which is pretty darn good. So Tabata now will play a gentle, just sort of a draw tap shot, I think. I don't think she's even going to throw enough weight to move it out here. It's more a freeze than anything. Does need to curl. This could be really good if it's not a little bit heavy. Well, she might have been trying to get it out. And will she make it? She will get it very close. It's really close now as to who's number 2. Heck of a shot. I wasn't quite sure. I thought you were just maybe playing just a draw weight shot. Does leave a little hit and roll for Whitbread, though. Again, not an easy shot, but it is there. Third, Anna Bakos. Be careful here. You got to make sure you get enough of this one that you don't drive it back on the red. If you did that, you'd be leaving a hit to sit 3 for Tabata. Try to make it curl. It's a tough call. It's going to get over far enough. No, well, at least it went out. That's not so bad. Good sweeping by the front end there to make that one get over. Carved it in there. So Tabata now with a chance to sit 2. Third stone, Miku Nihira. Great delivery. All these kids are going to have great deliveries. I'll call them kids. Some of them I'm sure aren't kids anymore. They're young adults or even into their early 20s. This looks like a good shot. Will it stay around? No, it's going to go out. So nobody really taking advantage of the half shots that are being made in this end. Each team has had a chance to really make it much more difficult on the other team than they have. But the only one real good time was when Whitbread made the hit and roll. That was a heck of a shot. And Tabata's team did dig it out. So other than that, though, there's been a series of kind of missed opportunities, I would say. So Whitbread trying to play a come around the red. Lane turn. Sweepers kind of jumping it and backing off a little bit. It's never a bad thing for sweepers to kind of get a little bit of a start, and then you can always come off it and just kind of get you right in the mode for sweep if you have to go. So I never ever minded my sweepers getting a little bit of an early start. That's going to be a great shot. A terrific shot by Abby Whitbread. Totally buried. Momoha may be able to get at that, though. The last time when they played the one that was a little bit more open than that, it did curl in really nicely. So she certainly can get to the rock. Whether or not she can get it out of play, I'm not so sure. That was a terrific draw by Abby, though. That was a dandy. Tabata didn't have seem like a lot of weight on it coming out, but she gave it a little, like that little extension at the end. Would have put a little bit more weight on it. This looks pretty good. If they got to make it go. Got to curl a little bit more. I don't know if it's going to get far enough. Can she get it out? No, she won't get it out. Good effort. Actually, it was a little bit heavy, if anything. I didn't think it was going to be heavy. So Whitbread with the chance again, same as the first end. Chance to throw the exact same shot. That's always nice when you're a skip. Probably nicer no matter what position you're in, but certainly when you're a skip and you have to throw a draw or two in the early ends, it's always nice to have just thrown one. And not exactly the same. So same shot again. Looks pretty close. The outside sweeper indicating it might be just a little bit up. And probably saying up is not maybe the right terminology. More like it's got enough weight to be there. Hey, she's got those come arounds down perfect. This is 3 in a row. She's had to throw 4 shots, and 3 of them have been come arounds that were absolutely perfect. So well done for Abby Whitbread. And Momoha Tabata now has to draw full 4-foot to score. And she's drawing against 2. Little indecision on where they want to do here. They just certainly can't count on that red one being backing, because if you throw it a little bit too hard, that rock's behind the guard better than the last one was, and the last one just barely got a piece of it. So you approach this just like a straight draw to the tee line. That's all the sweepers have to think about. Make sure you have enough ice. You don't have to panic to get by the guard, and you should be fine. So last rock in the second end's on its way. And sweeper just kind of heavy clean. It's going to be close. I think it should be fine. And just absolutely perfect. From Momoha Tabata, she will pick up 1 here in the second end. Will trail as she goes to the third, 2-1. And we'll join you back here in 1 minute.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
So after a great draw by Momoha Tabata in the second end, facing two, and one of them in almost full forefoot, she managed to pick up her one and trails Saville Whitbread 2-1 after two ends. And Whitbread will have hammer here in the third end. Mentioned earlier, we'll just give you a little bit of info on these teams first of all, and it's don't have a lot on the Whitbread team. We do know that they did finish third at a Alberta Curling Series event earlier this year, and they were the under-18 runners-up last year. And they did lose the final of the Sherwood Park Spiel just last weekend after compiling a 4-1 record. So certainly a very capable team. But I'll tell you, they're up against a really, really solid young team in Tabata. This team has played 10 events already this year, and 11 if you count the event that they played in June. They have four victories. They won the event at the Obihiro Gold Cup back in Japan in June. They won the Red Deer Curling Classic in mid-November. They won the Argo Graphics Cup in Japan in August/September, and then they won the Saville Shootout here just a week after that, so that'd be about early to mid-September. And they also have 3 third-place finishes in events this year, so a very good up-and-coming team, and currently ranked like 13th in the world. So it's a big challenge for Whitbread taking on this team. They're not unfamiliar with the area. They obviously have been over here a lot, and it'll be a tough battle for them. But they have an early lead, so let's see what they can do with it. Job to come around the corner, or come around the center guard, really. Coming around it again. That's pretty good. Pretty tough double. Should you even want to play it? You have to make a hit on it. You have to make a play on it at least to some degree. A lot of discussion on this one. They're going to come down and chat about it. They're all going to come down and have a chat about it, so make sure the team's all on the same page. They obviously don't have a coach on the ice with them. Discussion there about maybe playing the outturn freeze to the one at the top of the 4-foot or to the one at the top of the 8-foot. I still think the play really is to play that top red one. Make sure you don't get yourself in a whole lot of trouble here. You don't have hammer. You don't want to necessarily lose the guard. But just don't want to be overly aggressive just yet, I don't think. They are going to play some kind of a freeze to the top one. Or perhaps not. Perhaps a tap. Looks like ice for just a little bit of a tap. Try to get as close to the nose with that one as you can. Bump the back one back to the back of the 12-foot, if not out. and just sit right on top of the red, and hopefully the angles line up for you, and you'll have an opportunity to do something in a shot or two. Change rocks there. She had knocked the rock she wanted to have. Second stone. Say Yamamoto, rather. This one's definitely heavier than they want to be. Everybody's waving its up. And signals, although it looks pretty good to me. Gonna have to go to get it by. Gonna have to go hard to get it by. And she just squeaks it by the top one. So interesting result. I don't know. It really over-curled, I think, from where they would like to be on that shot, but red's still sitting 1. But it's in a really good spot. Problem for Whitbread here is she has hammer, and it's getting pretty congested in the center of the sheet, which sometimes isn't a bad thing, but sometimes isn't a good thing. So sometimes you get too many rocks there. The opposition that doesn't have hammer gets one rock, and you just can't get it out. There's just nowhere for it to go. Talking about playing a little tap on the red. I also pointed out to the guard, you could peel the guard here. You're allowed to peel the guard now. You're up 5 rocks. You're on the 6th rock at the end. Might not be a bad play, to be honest. Just had to kind of open these up a little bit. Your rocks aren't in bad position in there, and the only thing about it, things will get a little bit less cluttered, and that might include you losing a shot rock or somewhere in the back. But for now, she peels the guard, does a good job of it, and makes exactly what Skipper called. And now Tabata will decide what she wants to do. That would be the call I would expect them to play, I think, would be that little raise hit. Raise hit, and if it flops, if things go well, it will flop over on top of the red and maybe line up everything in much more in her favor than in Whitbread's favor. It's an in-turn with a little bit of weight on it. This is probably pretty good. Needs to curl up a little bit. A little bit more, maybe. Should be okay. Yeah, I just really needed to get up just a little bit more, but that's not bad. There's one of the sweepers almost does a forward 1.5 rotation dive. Just about wiped out, but she managed to catch it. Had a little laugh about it. So Whitbread now looking for a hit and roll off of this yellow. Looks like it'll touch the red one at the back, or not the back, or in the 4-foot area, but I don't think it'll hit it very hard if she hits this rock on the nose or a little inside nose. Got to go hard though. She could end up taking out her own. Now well swept. Very well swept. And a nice shot. Has left a double. I don't think it'll hit it very hard. If she again. This looks like it's going to get away from her, but the sweeper did a really good job of holding it there. Go hard though. She enough taking out her own. She still got a little piece of the yellow, but well swept. Enough that she didn't lose swept. Have it over curl too much and knock out the red. Chance for a double here. If you could ever make this shot, you'd have 3 of them lined up pretty darn good. Gonna need some solid weight though. It's not There's a fair bit of distance between those two. Sweeper going hard to hold it for line. Looks pretty good. Looks really good. That's a great shot. We should get it out, and she won't quite get it out, but what a shot. Just a beauty. And as we predicted, it ended up with 3 of them in a beautiful row. Nice time to have a replay on that. Sweeper going hard to hold it for just line. Holding it there. They really did sweep it perfectly. Really good. Knew exactly where they wanted to hit it to make sure it stayed where they wanted it to get it out, and she won't quite get it out, but what a shot. Just a beauty. Third stone, Nico Nihira. Opener skipper out pretty good on that one. So Anna Bakos be asked to remove a couple of these yellow ones. If she can get to the nose, she probably will get a couple. I don't know which 2 yet. There she did. That's a good job too. Well done. And because she stayed, I think Tabata has no choice but to hit something here. And she's going to go with the intern hit on the back one. Tough to stay on this shot, but if you can manage to stay and sit 2, that would be good. Haven't really been out here, I don't think, on this turn. And a well-thrown shot and a very nice result. For Nihira. Whitbread now will play the hit and roll behind her own center guard. Still nothing to really worry about for the Whitbread team. As long as they can make this one, they can be in a position to not have to be forced into one perhaps, and that's would be nice. But with the 2-1 lead, if she does get forced, it's not the end of the world. Would be nice to retain hammer going into the 4th though. This one's going to curl hard. It just doesn't have any weight on it. She is going to hit her top one, will she? And she will. And does not manage to pick up one of the yellows on the way by. Just an underthrown shot, really. I think for Anna, I think it's I'm not so sure we have the order of the throwers here. I'll have to try to get that just looking at the shirt sheet now. I think that might have been Adams throwing that one. The lineup that I have has Bakos playing 3rd, but that may not be right. So a good opportunity for Momoha Tabata to force Abby Whitbread into a single, having to make a hit for a single. Tabata could ignore this one, but not too often anybody would, to be honest. I think it's even second shot, and if it is second shot, you pretty much have to hit it. If it was third shot, you could consider throwing a guard on the one in the 8-foot. Gonna have to go hard on this to make it work too. I don't think this is going to do the trick. Will it get enough? It might. Sweep it out the back, and it does. So it definitely would have rather stayed on that, but just removing it was plan A, so that much accomplished. But she would have liked to stay just so she could be in a better position to force. So Happy Whitbread, who don't want to jinx her, but she's had a great start to this game. She's had thrown 4 shots, and the last 3 were beautiful come-arounds. She's going to throw a takeout this time. She could make the double. I think you probably can make the double and stay. It's a little bit hard to tell from here whether or not you'd be able to get enough of it to stay. Just the out turn. Quite a bit of rotation. She does throw a lot of rotation. This one's going to have to curl a little bit. I don't think it's going to stay. And it will not. So just a hair too much ice or a hair too much weight. One of those two. Because she looks like she threw it okay. So Tabata now will look to, I assume she was going to split the rings, but it doesn't look like she's going to do that. It looks like she's going to go top 8 foot, top 12, top 8. It's an interesting, it's a great shot if you can put it in the exact right spot. Sometimes you try this and it's so fine as to where you have to be distance-wise. It becomes difficult to do, but if you can put this just biting the 8 foot, it makes it hard for Whitbread to hit it and become shot rock, and she has to hit the back one and get shot or draw. And that's a lot of options, and sometimes they come back to haunt you. So we'll see where she ends up anyways. Sweeper staying right off of this, so it's certainly not light. Maybe a little deeper than she wanted, I think. No major harm with that. You're going to force Whitbread to hit to score. She doesn't have to roll. The only thing about it, I say that shot, if it's a foot shorter, it's perfect. But it's just so hard, because if you're 2 feet shorter, then she can blank at the end, and that doesn't help. 2 feet shorter where the call was. It's just hard to throw it to that kind of 1 foot area that you have to play with, which is really about all you have. By the way, Abby Whitbread now just has an open hit to score here in the third end. It's going to look pretty good out of her hand from where I could tell. Trying to make it curl a little bit, and it should be fine. Going to be right on the nose, I believe. So very nice throw for Abby Whitbread. She picks up a single here in the third. We'll take a 3-1 lead to the fourth end here at the Saville U25 Challenge at the Saville Curling Center.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
So we're back for the fourth end. Jim Nix here with you at the Saville Curling Center for the Saville U25 Challenge. Brought to you by Curling Stadium Edmonton. I encourage you to like and subscribe to our website. It certainly helps us out a whole lot. And enables us to bring all these games to you. And enables you to find out first and foremost when everything's happening and what's on. So check it out. You're probably there now or have been there. But either way, if you haven't directly, then have a look. Be sure to hit us with a like. So back for the fourth end, as we said, and Tabata trailing 3-1 now. Abby Whitbread just playing very well in this game so far. The 2-point lead. But Tabata did what she wanted to do the last end. She did force for a little while. She had a really good setup, but a double by their third stone for a Whitbread just kind of ended that, and she was forced to just try to force Whitbread, which she did. Girls are working hard on this just to get it over. And they will not. So, tough miss there. You only get a couple of those freebies, if you want to call them, that the other team's not going to be able to do too much with. So you like to not mess those up, and that's definitely a miss for the Tabata team as they try to come back here from a 3-1 deficit. Center guard going up for Whitbread. So, 2 nice stones by lead Caitlin Tim. Good draw, nice guard. Well done. Tabata will ask for the corner guard again. Only up 2 fingers probably would mean zone 2. A lot of teams use a zone format for rocks, starting at 1, going all the way up to 11. 2 would be halfway, basically, between the hog line and the house. Right about there, I'd say. So very nicely done. Great recovery after the first one. So another guard going up for Whitbread. It's time for second stone, Haley Adams. And I will try to, I think I'm going to have to switch that up because I'm pretty sure this must be Anna Baco's throwing there because it looks like Adams is a sweeper here. If anybody out there knows for sure and wants to let me know in the chat, that would be great. That's what it looks like to me. So a bit of a mess here for Tabata. She'll have to decide if she wants to. Yeah, she's going to open it up a little bit. Hopefully get 2. You'd like to get 2 here. If you can get 2 of them here, you can probably roll over and have an additional corner guard over near your other one. This team sometimes takes a little while to call a shot, but when they call it, they do not waste any time. That was not what they wanted to do. Be interesting. It probably means Abby will hit the one in the house, which might help out a little bit, but not really a lot. Tabata would like to keep that corner guard in place. This one's got to come up a little. Not going to get on the rings, I don't think. No. Still, again, wasn't going to really accomplish a lot there other than get rid of it, which she did, so that's a good start. So about halfway, almost halfway through the end here. It's a matter of what do you do? I don't think you can throw another corner guard up. I think you either got to come around freeze in there or you got to run that guard, but you kind of hate to do that down 3-1. Sometimes it's necessary. Well, can't hear what they're saying, but I'm pretty sure they covered all the shot options here, but just for watching the room. Not really sure if there's too many. I think you're either going to run the front one or you're going to play this freeze, which is what they're going to do. I don't know if that's enough ice to make this or not, but we will find out. Thrower indicating 3, which would be zone 3, which would be basically just short of the house. Just going by fingers here. They're holding up their fingers. Will she get this by? She will. What a great sweeping job and a very nice throw. Maybe she was holding up 4 fingers. I'm not sure. indicating 3, which would be zone 3, which would be basically see this just short of the half fingers, her whole hand basically. So just 4 white fingers, the 12 foot, holding up. That's pretty close. Will she get this where it ended up? She will. Just sneak it by and sit right on top. Very nice throw. That's a great shot. So the guard will go up here for Whitbread. This one's curling hard too. Gonna tap that. Might not hurt her. It'll be an interesting call here by Momoha Tabata. She can play the double peel, roll to the corner with her, roll to the corner a little bit with her shooter. She can also hit this straight back. Drive it right on the yellow, which will hit the red and stay. Probably stay. So a couple of options on this shot. I get the impression she was going to play it to just roll the shooter away a little bit. Needs to curl a little bit more to do that. And it's a good shot. It was going to be pretty tough to make that double and hang around, obviously. And I'm not really sure if she was trying that or trying to run back, but either way, it did the job, cleaned it up. Of course, it's Whitbread's third, who I think now is Haley Adams. We're going with that, and hopefully we got it right. I'm going to throw it. Should probably be a fairly tight guard on this. That's a really good shot. Guarded the right side too. If you're going to be a little bit off on the line, you'd like to be on that side. And let Tabata play something on this side that the angle is not set up quite so good for. A fair number of team meetings here for only being in the fourth end, but sometimes the most key part of the game is in those third and fourth ends. You got to get through those before you can get to the seventh and eighth end. So a couple of options here. I think she's looking at, can I come around and tap it out, yellow and red, tap it out, or do I just sort of play what would amount to a split on the yellows and probably moves the red a little bit into the open and leaves you number 2, number 3. With a little bit of pressure on Whitbread to make sure she doesn't hit and roll out or anything like that. I'm not so sure you can get enough weight on this to go around the guard, hit the yellow enough to drive the red out of play. So this one's going to be hard pressed to get by the guard, I think. Well, it did a little bit of the job, but not very much. It was just, well, quite a bit underthrown, I'd say. Because it sure looked like with the ice she had, she was looking for a little bit more weight than that. That was only probably T-line, maybe back 4, back 8. She might have been looking for something around the back 12 maybe for that. But anyway. Whitbread now can throw a guard here and put Tabata in some trouble. Can't really afford to give up another point here in the fourth end. To go down 4-1 after 4 would not be the best situation. So Whitbread playing a guard. Not sure how deep she wants it. It's probably all more about line here than it is anything. You don't really want to set up an easy double peel, but at the same time, it's as long as you guard the rock, the yellow rock, you're going to do the job here. Whitbread's first shot here in the fourth end. Needs to curl, but it's probably going to. Gotta keep it going a little bit, I think. You don't want to leave a hole there. And she is going to leave a hole, so big opportunity for Tabata. It's not a gimme by any means to go through that hole and make this, but it's a lot more than I think you could have hoped for. Go through it probably on either turn, although I feel like the out turn would be the out turn works better with the stagger for sure. It's just a matter of whether or not you're curling away from the rock you want to hit. Can you hang around where you want to hang around? Definitely going out turn. So big shot here. She could make this in set 2 when she's done. Quite possibly. I don't know if it comes on the red one or not. You have to have a look at the overhead for a second there and see whether or not that would, if the shooter would come over against the red. But either way, make the one in the house go away. You'll definitely keep at least one of yours around, and hopefully 2. So Tabata, out turn hit. Looked a little bit. Needs to curl off that yellow. It will, and not curl too much. Should be really good. That's a great shot. Really nicely done. Looked a little bit. See it here just for a minute. You wonder if it's going to get by the yellow, and then it's like, okay, now is it going to get by the red? It will, and not curl too much. Just about equal distance really between the two as far as how she cleared them. And this one rolled nicely too. It didn't leave a double. Coming back for Whitbread, it did leave the same hole, obviously. The hole's still there, and the rock is in a great position for hitting it. And actually a good position for getting a roll, too, as far as that goes. So a good opportunity, but Tabata couldn't do any more than she did. Now she needs a little bit of break. And she might have a chance to get her 2 and get back tied up here. She's through the hole, I think. That's sweeper's kind of high-fiving there, but I think there was a definite mistake there for the sweeping tandem, and I don't know who made the mistake, but it's certainly they seem to be sweeping still to get it to curl at a time when you had to hold it straight. As soon as you were going to clear the red one, you don't need to make it curl anymore. You got to hold it straight so it doesn't curl too much, because definitely had a chance to make that hit and maybe even a really, really good roll. And now you're giving up a draw for 3. Kind of an unnecessary risk to play that tight. And like I said, they do have a little bit of a funny sweeping arrangement with that inside sweep where she sort of turns around and gets on the other side. I'm not sure that that's the best way to go about that shot. Anyway, so here's the draw for three for Tabata. Momoha Tabata, just drawing the house, basically drawing the 4-foot. And she'll be close here for sure. She made a draw against two in the couple of ends ago when she had to make it, and this one's no problem at all. And she will pick up a surprising 3-ender here. Just the way the game was rolling, and didn't expect that to happen. And she will take a 4-3 lead at the 4th end break. We'll be back just in a moment.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
So as the break continues here, just updating the score again. The score on the board there, we haven't quite got it posted yet, but Tabata does pick up a 3 in the 4th to go ahead 4-3. And as the teams take a short break, we'll do the same for another minute or so until they come back. Well, since we're here, might as well talk a little bit more about a couple things. And first of all, we'll be here all weekend doing some select games with commentary and perhaps a game or two without as well. But we'll be here all weekend right through the finals on Sunday. So be sure to stay with us here at Curling Stadium Edmonton. You know where to find us, so look us up and take in games all weekend long. And also, I mentioned earlier that the Tabata team had played a lot and had some third-place finishes. One of those just came at the fairly recent, back in October, Hearing Life Challenge in Charlottetown, where they finished third in the Tier 2 there. That's quite an accomplishment. That's a tough challenge. Those teams all worked their way to making it into the main draw of the Slams. The Tier 2 is a pretty interesting event. We hosted that where I live back a few years ago, and a lot of teams, 16 men's, 16 women's in 2 different divisions, so altogether 64 teams, and it's quite a weekend, quite a great time for the town or the club or whatever it is that you operate. In our case, we did it through our local wellness center, which is our 2 ice surfaces, and gym and Y and whatever in there. So it was a great weekend, and we enjoyed it. And they finished third at the one in Charlottetown, so good for them. And they did finish with a 1-point lead here after 4 ends. As I mentioned, I think just a sweeping error really by the Whitbread team in the 4th cost them there, and I'm sure they'll talk about that later. Coach will probably have that discussion with them, and you can really the ability to carve rocks is always still amazes me, even though we've had it now for a couple of years. It does amaze me how much you can make rocks move at times, and if you have some good sweepers, and all these ladies none of them are big people. They don't have a benefit of 200 pounds on a brush, but they just have great technique and great power and some shorter strokes, and really do a wonderful job of moving rocks. And I think that in this case they just moved one too far. So Tabata up first here in the 5th end. She's probably playing this in the house. Didn't see the call, but there's a 1-point lead now. Probably will play it in the house. And puts in the 8-foot. That's fine. I always like to see that rock be biting the top of the 4-foot, so if I get the opportunity to guard it, I'm guarding one that's a little bit closer, but that's just being a little fussy. Anything above the tee line is not bad. So the corner guard going up for Team Whitbread as she tries to get a couple of points. Really kind of had command of the game here for the first 3 3/4 ends. So you just got to get past what just happened and realize that you have had pretty good control, so you have been playing pretty well. Just got to bear down and get that back. So, guard going up here for Tabata. And it's touching the center line, so it can't be moved. Doesn't quite guard the rock, but not bad. We're going to try to hit it and just roll over to the wings there somewhere, far enough away that the Japanese squad can't just make another hit and roll back. Very nice shot there. Reminder as well, quick reminder that if you're looking for scores for all the games, you can find them at curlingzone.com. They'll be there, end by end scores will be on the site. So it's a nice way to stay in touch with what everybody else is doing, particularly if you have a team that you're cheering for from your home, not from the seats here in Edmonton. So good hit and stay. For second stone, say Yamamoto. Somebody's going to try to get a roll here at some point. Well, I guess they're always trying. Just somebody's going to make it happen sometime soon. This will hang around. It will not. That's tough because now you've given the Tabata team a chance to play the out-turn draw around the guard. Second stone, Yamamoto's second rock. This one needs to curl a bit. If it's got enough weight to hold on here, it'll be able to get it pretty well buried. Pretty close. Good effort, still gettable. Okay, so Abby Whitbread's going to play the freeze to this one. Really the answer, not a bad call at all. little bit short, but usable. Not a bad situation for Tabata, though. She can just play guard here if she likes. It's going right around. It looks like she's going right around. Will she clear that top one? She'll clear the red and just robs the yellow. So not bad, though. There's no hit and roll for Whitbread here. Just going to peel the guard. Might also be the best option here. You're getting a little late in the end here, and it's a little bit messy. Best you were going to do otherwise is probably play a hit and roll to the corner and be number 2, or play the freeze to the pocket and be number 3, and then hope to get an opportunity to do something with it. Haley Adams plays the peel. Thanks very much to one of our viewers here for confirming that Adams was the third stone and not Bakos, as we had been saying earlier, as it was on the sheet that we had before. But it's a good peel. Be in a little bit of trouble here, probably, depending on where this one goes. Yeah, pretty much a good guard. Going to be peeled again. Haley Adams being asked for the peel once more. And she's going to come up and get enough, and she will. And it's looking like it's going to be very difficult for Whitbread to score here, is the only problem. Well, I guess she'll have the draw on both sides probably, although I would not want to throw that in-turn draw down there. You'd have to go out a long ways, and it'd be tough to know what the weight would be out there. So Tabata with her first stone here in the 5th. Trying to throw the guard. It's probably going to be good. I'm not really sure if you have the luxury of playing this peel again. want to create a little bit more space for your draw, you can always play the hit on the one in the house that you can see. Just roll off to the wings. Team Tabata probably hits it, and then you have a draw to the 4-foot, but at least you have the whole 4-foot. Right now, you have to. It's a really tough draw right now. She'll run this straight back on the red, though. She could make the double raise, double, which probably is the shot she's playing. If they can hold it. They can hold it. Not quite. Great try. Great try. And that was really a good option if you make it. It's just tough if you don't make it, because now I don't know where you're going to go here. Of course, it depends on where Team Tabata puts theirs. I would think she won't want to line this up the way she did the last one, although it was a very, very difficult shot. Certainly was there for Abby Whitbread. And just curled a little tiny bit too much for her. Could ever just corner freeze the red one. Would be perfect. Nobody sweeping this one at all. It'll be pretty well in the same spot. Well, she's going to take another run at it, I think, by the look of it. I don't know if she has any choice now. She doesn't. I don't know where she could draw. She can't go on the outturn because the red guard, corner guard, is in the way. And the in-turn is just a long ways out. You'd have to get well out into the 12-foot, and I don't know if that would be the best spot. She was pretty close on this last shot, so she could very well make this. Good shot in this game, though, because if you make it, you're still in good shape, and if you don't make it, you're going to be possibly down 3, depending on exactly what happens, but we'll see how it goes. Abby Whitbread with raised takeout, raised double, basically. This one's going to curl too much, I think. Maybe, maybe not. It's close. Oh, wow. Great effort. Great try. Great sweeping to hold it there. And she will cut Tabata down to 1 point. But she will remain behind, this time by a score of 5-3 after 5 ends of play as we go to break.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
We're back here now for the 6th end of our game between Momoha Tabata and Abby Whitbread. Whitbread from Lacombe, Alberta, and Tabata from Sapporo, Japan. Whitbread has some work to do. It's a good end, though, to score. If you can score 2 here, tie it up. You have control of the even ends with hammer. It's not a bad scenario, but you do have to get your deuce. So the center guard went up, and the corner guard went up. Now we have a draw coming around the center guard by lead Miko Nakajima. This one's a little deep. Almost hit the corner guard. Back forward, yeah, a little bit deep. Whitbread going to go around the corner guard. It's a good call. So there's always a time and place of the game where when you're a little younger and you haven't played quite as much as some other teams, sometimes you get a little anxious in these situations. You get a little rushed. You feel like you got to make a big move on that shot rock and early, and really you just have to wait a little bit. It's more important that you get a rock or two somewhere in the rink, somewhere in the sheet where they can't hit it, than it is that you remove theirs. You'll get to theirs later. That was a very nice shot. Again, went a little bit deeper than she would like, but it's not bad. First goal there was to get her behind the corner guard, and she did that. It's basically the same call as the last shot. She'd like to be a little higher. She'd like to be the same spot on the top of the forefoot instead of the back of the forefoot. Looks like that's about where it's going to be. Not quite making the curl that they wanted. Probably swept a little more than they would have liked to have swept, but they wanted to make it curl, and they did do that. So it's about half open. Definitely gettable. Big shot here. Could make this one and roll behind the corner. You'd have 2 behind the corner. You'd be in a much better situation, and in a difficult, making things a little difficult for Team Tabata too. I think you have to keep this one straight. This one has to curl a little bit. It's pretty close. Will it stay around? I think it will once it hits, and it does. Rolled a little too far, unfortunately. It just opened up on the outside, so probably see Team Tabata hit this. Keep the weight up a little bit on this one, I think. Just to make sure it doesn't curl on you. Of course, if it curls, it'll probably hit the other one, so at least you'll make contact with something. Second stone, say Yamamoto. This one's staying out a long while. She might get them both. Very fortunate double, I have to say. I'm pretty sure that was not in the plans, but she's not going to give it back. So for Whitbread, going back around that corner. Really want one of these to stay above the tee line, though. Anabekos. Got to get it by. A little bit casual, I think, for that on the sweep in there. I thought that, I guess it was maybe just the weight was just a little bit heavy too, but almost worked out really nice. And didn't work out terribly bad. It's not an easy rock to get out without losing your own at the back. A lot of discussion here on something, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I think she's looking, she knows she hasn't got a whole lot of clearance there. It's almost edge on edge. And so if you're going to have that, then you may need to take a little more ice and throw a little bit less weight. Or do none of the above and draw. It's an interesting shot. Just sort of a draw tap, a little bit of a tap on flop inside would be good. 2-point lead, you don't usually see people leaving a rock around like that, but might be the best option. Pointing down to the back one now, thinking it's not going to ever curl enough. I don't think it's going to go, I think you got to let it curl. It's actually a good shot. Certainly a rock that a little bit difficult for Whitbread to deal with, although it's definitely there. To remove it and stay. Probably not stay for, might not stay for number 2. But you're not going to stay for number 2. But if you at least hit and roll behind the corner maybe and set 1-3, that wouldn't be so bad. So Haley Adams playing a little hit and a bit of a roll. This one's got a curl too. Will it curl enough? Will not, and she removes her own stone. That's very unfortunate. Very bad luck. She just needed to get another half an inch of curl, and it would have at least made contact with the yellow and probably not stayed, but at least it would have removed the yellow and would have worked out okay. Or I don't know if it was an ice or weight issue or what it was, but for whatever reason it didn't work. One of those shots that if you were trying to do it, you'd stay out there all day and not make it the way she made it. So guard's going to go back up for Team Tabata here. And you don't want it to curl anymore. We'll stop. And it does. Might have curled a couple inches more than they would like, but to be honest, guarded it pretty good. Forces Abby Whitbread to go to the out turn. And lots of room here. Definitely an opportunity. It's still not, you know, it looks a little grim at times, but it really isn't too bad if you can sink one in here right now. Just need your third to make one for you here. You can probably get this 3/4 buried on the top of the button or the side of the button. Right now, she'd like to see one in there, almost wherever it is. Out turn draw. Line looks really good. It's a little bit heavy, but if she gets it by, she'll be okay. Very nice. Definitely was not the weight she was looking for. She's definitely looking for draw weight, but to be honest, if she hit the broom and had draw weight there, she would not have had enough ice to clear that. So it might be a good thing that she threw probably a little bit more than what the call was. I'm assuming that the preference there would have been to be at the top of the button and not back there where Team Tabata can now play the draw to it. But at least it takes a whole lot of heat off it. A lot better situation than it was before she threw it. Just need a little bit of a half shot here, and you might get your chance to get your 2. But still, 3's not totally out of the realm of possibility yet either. Very nicely done. But again, it could be removed. Certainly enough room to remove it. The only bad part is you probably can't. You probably got to remove it and sit number 3 or 4 or whatever it would be on the right-hand side of the sheet as we look at it down the long view there. And that's and the possibilities are that Team Tabata just goes right back in there. But at this point, that's all you can do. You can't invent shots here, and you can't move rocks just by wishing them away. So that's what you have to play. There's a little pick. Oh. Too bad for Abby Whitbread. That was just so close to being quite good. Now she's going to be forced with a really tough shot to score. I don't know exactly where that's going to come from, but we'll let her throw the guard first and see what happens and then go from there. But it is going to be a difficult task. So apparently we've got some of the names wrong for the team from Japan too, from what they're tonight. And I think when I read who I've been calling the skip Tabata, I think this is Nihira throwing skip stones, but I don't have a clue who else is playing where. So we'll try to get that straight by tomorrow for tomorrow's games. Well, this one's got to go. Don't know if they're going to get it over. Well, they get it. They got it over. They'd like to get it over a little further. Well, they left an opportunity for, I think, an easier opportunity than I would have thought for Abby Whitbread to score. I don't see her getting 2 here, but if she can play the same shot she just played and pick it out and score 1, which I didn't think she'd have anything. Not to say it's a simple shot, but it's a whole lot simpler than what it would have been if that guard had curled another foot or a foot and a half, whatever. Must make shot though. With a 6-3 or 5-3 deficit, playing the 6, you don't want to go down 6-3. They're going hard to hold this. I don't know if it's gonna be on the front guard. Maybe no. Yes. Another nice try by Abby Whitbread. Just such small measures of agony really on those shots. Just missing by just a hair. So Team Tabata will pick up one more, steal another point here in the sixth end. And they'll take a 6-3 lead here at the Saville U25 Challenge at the Saville Curling Center. We'll be back after this.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Welcome back. Tim Nix here with you for this matchup between Momoha Tabata and Abby Whitbread in the Saville Under 25 Challenge. It's been a good game, just been a matter of a couple small misses by the Whitbread team, which has given Tabata a 6-3 lead. Playing end number 7 here in this event, triple knockout event, 10 teams on the women's side. And we are in draw number 2. Whitbread 1-0 coming into this game, and this is Tabata's first game in this event. So obviously 0-0. Card going up. It looks identical to the end previous, how it started out at least. The rock goes in, the corner guard goes up, the guard goes up for the yellow team. Now the red team, Abby Whitbread's team, will try to play the out turn, come around behind the corner. Absolutely imperative to make some of these early in the end just to try to get things going your way a little bit. You definitely need 2 here. Love to get 3, but you definitely need 2. Give yourself a good chance coming home to steal a point and make it to the extra end. And this one looks very good. Actually, came out the other side a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate, but she's not going to do anything with it right now. It's played the same shot. Well, might not be the same shot as the first one, but the out turn though this time, and right in. She's calling for this to come right in on top of the other. Going around was not the intent. Actually, it didn't work out that badly, but you really would rather have a rock in front of that one rather than behind that one. So Whitbread going around the corner again. another shot that you'd really, really, really like to make, because your next shot's going to end up being probably a peel of some kind. You'd love to have a couple of rocks in the house somewhere when you do that. This one's not going to work too well. I'm probably going to open up the back one. And it does. Rolls to the center. That doesn't hurt you a lot. You need one near the center. So Team Tabata with Miko Nihira skipping. Playing the outturn hit and roll. This one they're going to have to make it curl a little bit. Probably on the center guard. And it will be, just barely, but didn't help them much. Didn't get rid of the rock in the house, and really, if anything, made the guards better. I guess that helped a little bit, but tough call here for Whitbread. Try to go again. And a Bakos. Her second one in this end. Did a good one on her first one, so she can just duplicate that. Would be perfect. And she will do that. Very nicely done. So that's that part of it. Although Team Tabata does have a chance to hit this one. It's about at least half open. Play a better throw. Not a lot of weight, but be on the guard, and it will. Just underthrown, but very, very fortunate roll. That's the benefit of that kind of weight versus that bigger weight, because, you know, she hit that rock and really got a very fortunate roll, admittedly, but it was only possible because the weight was just a nice controlled weight. Although to make the shot, she probably had to have a little more weight, so that probably would have been a plan A. So probably Whitbread now will play the peel on this, but it really is a good opportunity because of the angle. You can run it back towards the yellows if you can make it. Would be good. Would be better. This one needed to at least get a big chunk of this. Just not working out for them at all. You really need to hit about half a rock there, and now you've got staggered guards. It's just a complete mess out there. So Team Tabata is going to play the hit, really playing the double here. Not that you need the double, but you're playing the double because there's two there, and she's going to throw some weight at this one. She has virtually no ice. She's basically trying to hit it exactly where the broom is. And she's going to get one, but I'm not sure she's going to get more than one. She might get one of her own as well. Yeah, she got one of her own and moved the other one. I got two of her own. One plus the shooter. Did get rid of one of the reds, so that's a good thing for them. There's a chance here if you do this right, you could end up getting rid of the yellow and sliding over and guarding your rock that's in the 8-foot there pretty easily if you just know for sure what you need to do to make that happen. You have 2 rocks to make it happen. The rock that's frozen, the red one, or the shooter, either one of them or both can go that direction. And guard that up for you, which would be nice. It's the outturn peel this time. This one's going to be closer. It's going to go a little too far. Just a bit. It's a tough shot, but don't know for sure if they were looking at that shot. But anyway, good effort. So Team Tabata will try maybe again for the 3rd time to try to get this particular rock out. Last shot, though, to be fair, was a good throw. Just didn't work out. So Miko Niira throwing the outturn hit. I've learned here on this side, you got to hit the broom, but it will curl. If you throw nicely, just as she has done here, curl, and she will roll over into the pile again. And that's a very nice shot. I don't think Whitbread has a choice of throwing the hit here. I think she has to throw the draw down 6-3, throw the in-turn draw, put it right on the button, and then with your last one, hope that you get a chance to do it again. There's just not enough time to hit those rocks. You're going to hit them. You might make a double, but your shooter's going to be probably wide open. She hits that, and then you're probably going to have to take one. So we can't see it, but obviously there's a bunch of chatter going there. They are. So you can see the coach out here, and this is a little different. So this is unlike men's and women's play where you have 2 timeouts during an event, whatever. And I shouldn't say that. Maybe they do it that way as well. But the way I understand it with the on-ice coaches, this is what we did, at least for the last number of years. You get so many interventions, if you want to call it that. There's interactions or whatever where you can do that each end. A minute or so to talk, but there's no formal timeouts. But not exactly sure what the rules are here, but I think since he's on the ice, that's what they would be doing. They haven't really called any of those this time, but and ultimately, as I mentioned earlier, she is going to play the draw here, and really it's a must-have, to be honest. Sweepers need to do a good job on this one. Put it right on the hole, right on the pin. Not sure if she's got enough weight. Maybe. It's pretty close. Gotta go hard. Can't quite get it there. Just not quite enough weight. Good try by Abby Whitbread, almost did it again. But suffice to say, she's in a heap of trouble here. Tabata's going to go right around, I think. She could just guard that and assume that Whitbread would not make the triple on the other side. She could hit the red one as well, but that's just carries a little too much risk with it. So Nihira. This actually looks quite good, I think. I'm trouble judging the weight on the screen here, but it's gonna be a little heavy. So not good at all, despite the fact I thought it looked like it might be. Doesn't do them any good at all. Doesn't take away anything, but Abby Whitbread has to make this shot, or we will probably have handshakes. And she has to get at least a piece of the button to score. She needs a piece of the button to prevent giving up 2, to be honest. If she doesn't get a piece of the button, she's going to give up at least 2. So it's a big shot. Score 1 here, and you're going to have your work cut out for you really big time in the next end, but you got to try to get to the next end first. Needs a little more than she had in the last shot. Wasn't that far off last shot, but a lot of things have to be good on this. The weight has to be perfect, and the line has to be perfect. And you've got to go by that guard by not very much. But it looks heavy again. And it's definitely going to go too far. And it's going to be a steal of 3. And that is probably going to be it. Wait to make sure that that's the case. And we will. We have handshakes all the way around. So we have a final score 9-3 for Tabata over Whitbread. Certainly not a 9-3 game. Scores can be very deceiving at times. But overall, pretty decent day for Whitbread. A 1-1 start to the weekend. Can't really complain too much with that. Tabata's off to a 1-0 start as they only played once today. So we remind everybody we will be here all day tomorrow, covering at least one game during each draw. And we would invite you to come back to the Saville Curling Center, Curling Stadium, Edmonton online, and take in the Saville U25 challenge rather. This is Jim Nix for my partner Jaiden in the production side, saying good night for now. We'll see you tomorrow.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.